What's up, guys? AWO Earn War Order. Before I get to this thumbnail, before I get to this, as you know, I was gonna originally do some videos last week. This video right here and another video. Well, actually, this video in Hawkeye episode 6, I was gonna do over Friday and the weekend, but unfortunately, my mic broke. And so I couldn't do it, so I had to order a new mic on Friday. And the good news is, my mic has come in today. Originally, it was said it was going to come in tomorrow, but from Amazon it came in today instead. This is the new mic. So I moved up this. So from Friday, from the streams I had, from this stream and another stream I had, I was planned for Saturday and Friday, I believe. I moved up to Tuesday and Wednesday because I expected my mic to come in tomorrow. But since it came in today, I'm moving them up from tomorrow, Wednesday. So the Spider-Man stream is today, as you can see, and the Hawkeye episode 6 finale will be tomorrow. I got another stream set up, but I might delete it. But I am gonna set up another stream talking about Batman, the trailer, and talking about some Batman stuff I think is gonna happen. Batman. In the future of the Batman for Warner Brothers. But yes. We are gonna, but yes, so as you can see here, let me get this up. Well, we'll get to that, George. Thank you for bringing it up. We'll get to that. So as you can see, fans are calling for Amazing Spider-Man 3. The question is, do you want it? Do you want to see it? Do you want it to happen? Now, I'm not going to push this. I don't want this to become like a certain fandom, the Snyderverse. I don't want Sony to get the same kind of backlash. Not backlash, same kind of discord from people demanding for Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4 from the Tobey Maguire verse. Okay? I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna be crazy obsessed like certain people in this Restore the Snyderverse. And right, I'm gonna get to Restore the Snyderverse stuff in a different stream that I planned for this week. I have to set that up. It has to do with Batman. And okay, let me take this banner off. So yeah, as you say, fans are calling for Amazing Spider-Man 3. Do you want it? And you want Andrew Garfield to come back? So, thank you, George. Yes, and we'll get that. We'll talk about that. So right now, like, share, subscribe, whatever you can do. And yeah, so now. So what my thoughts, my answer, so as you know, I would like to see it. Yes, so yes. I'd like for Sony to make Amazing Spider-Man 3, restarting, having Andrew Garfield come back as Spider-Man. As you can clearly see, what happened between Sony and Andrew Garfield, it's all water under the bridge. All water under the bridge. The relationship soured after Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was obvious, you know. The relationship between the two was soured after that movie. And that movie, some people like it, a lot of people didn't. And that movie, the reception of that movie really hindered the direction of the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if it's trilogy or whatever. Remember, we're going to have a Sinister Six. The stuff, and that was going to spin off a Sinister Six, plus a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie. If you remember, there was supposed to be a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie spinning off of that Spider-Man stuff. Because remember, Felicia Hardy, played by Felicity Jones, as you may know, she was in Rogue One. Rogue One is the main character, Jey Uso, I think that's her name. She was supposed to be Black Cat, and Silver Sable was supposed to be. But since that movie bombed, those plans changed, and Sony and Marvel, Sony and Disney MCU came to agreement how to use a new Spider-Man into the MCU. Sony and MCU, Tom Holland Spider-Man, of course. But that's a different thing, right? That's right, because so if you saw Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm sure, yeah, I know the people in the chat seen Spider-Man No Way Home. Or if you're not, if you already know the spoilers, you know Andrew Garfield's in it, right? I'm pretty sure you know he's in it. So that relationship between the two, Sony and Garfield, obviously water on the bridge. The damage has been repaired between the two. And Spider-Man No Way Home, he was in it as one of the three Spider-Mans: Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield. And that got everybody excited. We know it's been leaked, speculated and leaked by a certain YouTuber by the name Campia, John Campia, that all three Spider-Mans. Now, I wasn't really a big fan of Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2. I didn't like it. I'll be honest, I didn't like it. I thought, especially the villain, I did like the relationship between the kid Osborn and the Osborn and Peter Parker, but I did not like when Osborn became that Goblin. That Goblin's fucking terrible. Electro, our man. I don't know what to say about Electro. Rhino, yeah, you can say what you say about Rhino. There's a lot of things wrong with that movie. And yes, I agree with you, George. It has a better chance of happening. I agree with you there, 100%. I do think it has a better chance of happening. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Tobey Maguire is not gonna get a Spider-Man 4. I don't think we're gonna get a Spider-Man 4. I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, if Tobey Maguire comes back, it'd be more of an either Spider-Man or maybe MCU projects. I don't think you get his own solo film. But Amazing Spider-Man 3, Andrew Garfield is a better chance of that happening. Because there was a chance that Tobey Maguire. There was a chance we only got to see two Spider-Mans, Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. Tobey Maguire was the last one to negotiate and being Spider-Man. And if you know the history of Tobey Maguire, he's a hard negotiator. That's why you don't see him in a lot of stuff. Name me, I only know two movies he's been in that's not Spider-Man related. And that's Seabiscuit, and I know he's in The Wolf of Wall Street. Was it Wolf of Wall Street? No, Great Gatsby, I think it was. Great Gatsby. Not Wolf of Wall Street, Great Gatsby. That's what I'm thinking. Thank you, yeah. Yeah. The thing about Secret War, I'm telling you, so here's the thing. It's related to Spider-Man in some way and somewhat. Like a little bit and not a little bit. So Secret Invasion has been confirmed to be pretty much Disney Plus show in 2023. Secret Invasion, as we know, because the Disney Plus Day, they did not show Secret Invasion streaming for 2022. So far, we only have 3 shows from Marvel that's going to be in 2022. Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk. Secret Invasion has been confirmed to be a 2023 release. And I think that will... See, that's the thing. I never knew that. See, if you look at Tobey Maguire, He's always been a hard negotiator. But the Secret Wars thing, I think the Secret Wars movie will happen. But I think it's going to be an Avenger-like scale kind of film. And I think it's going to be either 2024 or 25. If I had to bet on 2025 would be Secret War. I mean, I have no sources, evidence to back that up. I'm just going by I'm just going by what I see with Secret Invasion and other stuff. Because also in 2023 we got other stuff like Ant-Man and Quantumania with 2023 with possible two villains, MODOK and Kang. Obviously we know Kang's in MCU from Loki. We also got Guardians 3. Oh, okay. Guardians 3. And I'm not sure what else is 2023. What Marvel film is in 2023? Oh, it's the Marvel. Marvels is early 2023, right? The Marvels is early 2023. But there could be more. And Disney Plus shows. Obviously, we're going to get Secret Invasion. And there's going to be more Disney Plus shows. Maybe Echo. I don't know. Remember, there's a lot of titles in the work. There's a lot of titles in the work. Marvel titles. Marvel. They have a plan. They have a plan. And yeah, so I like my new mic. But but with the Spider-Man stuff, it has to do with Sony, right? It has to do with Sony first. Sony has to agree with Marvel, agree with the Disney if they want to use their characters, right? And look, No Way Home, Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man has to get his own new trilogy with his college, whatever years. If they do basically Spider-Man 3, have to get Andrew Garfield. It's all up to Sony. I don't know what's the deal with. I don't know what's the deal with between Sony and MCU right now. The use of the Spider-Man characters, because we know they'll be negotiated in 2019. Remember, their deal was up, and then they agreed to a new deal in 2019. I don't know what the deal is. How many times they give Spider-Man in the MCU or the Spider-Man like characters in the MCU, properties, IP. I don't know what the deal is like. I mean, if I was Sony, based on success in No Way Home, I would cash in on keeping having their Spider-Man properties in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, No Way Home cost over $1 billion over the weekend. $1 billion. $1 billion. And that's without China. Without China. And I'm just reading something here. And so yeah, yes. And really, I know what this is about. Amazing Spider-Man. We're gonna also talk about the future of Tom Holland Spider-Man too. Also, Tom Holland Spider-Man. Because I'm not gonna talk about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man because I don't think that's happening. I don't think he's getting his own solo film. I think if I had to put a percentage on it, it's gonna be very low. Amazing Spider-Man 3. We know Sony's a shit company too, but there's a better chance of it happening. So let's go with Amazing Spider-Man 3. I think it will happen. I do think Andrew Garfield, if it'd be stupid not to capitalize on this based on the success of No Way Home, they should definitely capitalize on that. Get Andrew Garfield. Obviously, the relationship has been repaired between the two. Get Andrew Garfield. Obviously, they can't bring Gwen Stacy back. I need to use the multiverse to have another Gwen Stacy. Bring back the actress who's supposed to originally play MJ in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Shane Woodley, Shiny Woodley, I think that's her name, right? You know, from the Divergent trilogy. That's her main, like, I know she's been in other movies, but her thing was a Divergent trilogy. That had a reasonable cast. It had like, you could think what you want about the movies, but the cast in those 3 movies are top notch. I mean, trust me, you got this. I mean, I can name you a few. I know that's going off a bit of a tangent here with that, but I'll just name you the cast in the Divergent trilogy. I mean, you got Shane Woodley, Miles Teller, Zoe Kravitz, Ansel Elgort, right? I think Ansel Elgort. Kate Winslet. Jeff Daniels, Octavia Spencer, what's Daniel Day Kim, Maggie Q, who else? There's also other good ones. Naomi Watts has that trilogy. Despite what you think about it, whether you like it or not, it had a damn good cast. And so I do agree with George here. So if the Amazing Spider-Man, I always say on people's streams, George could vouch for me here and vouch for me here. I always say Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man fits better with Morbius in the Venom in that universe. Fits better, much better in that universe than the Tom Holland universe. And I know in the Tom Holland universe that the end credits scene it kind of pissed off a lot of people there, because now, like, we were thinking we were gonna get Tom Holland's Venom, not Tom Hardy's Venom versus Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but as you saw in the movie, Tom Holland's will not face Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's Venom goes back to his universe because of the Doctor Strange spell, restoring the multiverse. Perhaps restoring the multiverse of madness if he. But he did leave a bit of a symbiote in the MCU. So there's definitely plans for a possible MCU version of Venom. I know you're gonna say, "Oh man, it's gonna be watered down compared to that Venom." Yeah, it's possible. So there's possible we're definitely getting symbiotes into the MCU. That has to do with Secret War, maybe, or maybe the next trilogy. That's definitely gonna happen. I know people are disappointed. They want to see Tom Hardy's Venom versus Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's a little bit of as you could say, a kind of a Ralph Bohner thing, but not quite. Not quite. It did leave the hint of the symbiote. It's giving the MCU maybe Venom or different now symbiote like a being. But yes, I agree. Venom should be in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man should deal with Venom. They could be in 2 different cities. Andrew Garfield is in New York, right? And the Daily Bugle, if I'm correct, in Amazing Spider-Man is not really used, right? In Amazing Spider-Man, they don't really use the Daily Bugle. Jonah Jameson is not really in the Daily Bugle. If I could be wrong on that, but if I remember from those first 2 films, the Daily Bugle and Jonah Jameson was not really. I think Jonah Jameson wasn't even in the first 2 Spider-Man movies, Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I don't even think the Daily Bugle is. I think the Daily Bugle is barely used. So, and Daily Bugle might be used in this Venom movies is more used in San Francisco, where Brock lives. And thank you. So So see, it could work. It could work. See, that's why it could work. That's why Tom Hardy's Venom could work with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, because of stuff like that. Yeah, thank you, George. Exactly. And so yeah, I always said that Venom's tone works better with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. The tone, because I always felt Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was more of our darker tone setting than Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Because I always felt, because I always felt, the thing is, a lot of people will say this, that Andrew Garfield played a good Peter Parker, but not really a good Spider-Man. Because him as Spider-Man, he didn't have the quips, the jokes, the jokes, stuff like that. You know how Spider-Man is with his villains. He'll joke around with them, right? He'll talk down on them, joke. It was a little bit more darker then, and I think that fits better without Venom, and with the upcoming film Morbius. I think that fits better in Morbius. Morbius also. Morbius comes out next month with Jared Leto as Michael Morbius, a living vampire, human that turned vampire, I guess. I think that's in the same. I mean, the Vulture, he's in the same universe as the Vulture, but I'm confused with the Vulture now. Like, what universe is the Vulture in now? So, so we gotta watch that and see what universe the Vulture is in. Because he does run into Morbius, as we know. Let Andrew fight an alien. Yeah, let Andrew fight an alien. Thank you. Oh, phone. Okay. And yes, you know what? It really, No Way Home kind of redeemed Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and maybe care for him more. I mean, because you could still tell he was upset. He was still grieving. He was still taking it hard with Gwen Stacy's death. Man, he did say he'd stop pulling his punches. Now, did that mean he killed or not? Or maybe he just meant we had this kind of like Batman, where Batman will go extreme, but won't go to the point of killing the enemy. Maybe like that. But then you see like Andrew Garfield, and what made me great about those three Spider-Mans? It wasn't just there for. I mean, yeah, they're fan service. Of course, they're fan service. But fan service, I know a lot of people a lot of people think fan service is a negative thing. Like, why? Fan service is not a negative thing. In my opinion, fan service could be a good thing too. And this is a good thing. The way they used these two Spider-Mans in the film was perfect, because what they did they explained their experience and what it got them through and how they became to be and what it got them through, because they were older Spider-Mans, to Tom Holland Spider-Man, to Tom Holland. They were like to basically say they were gone kind of us. They kind of gone say they kind of went through the same thing as Tom Holland Spider-Man. And Tom Holland Spider-Man Peter Parker is younger, and he's more veterans. Yes, Garfield Spider-Man is probably not much older than probably like a decade older. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is probably much older. Yeah. But they've been where Tom Holland's been before. It may not be the same person close to them that died, but it doesn't matter who died. Uncle Ben, Aunt May, Gwen Stacy, they all know where each of them been together, and they were there to give Tom Holland, who was grieving Aunt May's death, they were there to tell him the experience went through, and not to give up hope. Stuff like that. They were there as kind of like assurance, like stuff like, right? You know, like they've been there before. That's what they're there for Tom Holland. And look, if you remember Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man after the death of Gwen Stacy, it wasn't Spider-Man for like, I don't know, for a very long time. And then we saw the Rhino in the Rhino mechanical suit, whatever. Paul Giamatti's character. And you see him come back as Spider-Man. Because by that time, Gwen Stacy would want him to keep being Spider-Man. Because she believed in him. She believed in Peter and believed in Spider-Man. And when they're saying that you could relate to Aunt May. Yeah, Aunt May's death happened, but Aunt May believed in her nephew being Peter and being Spider-Man. He believed in her, and she would want him to continue being Spider-Man. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Cause think about Aunt May accepting Peter as Spider-Man, like, especially a young Spider-Man. You think? Let's be honest. When I saw that, I thought she would be against it. Of course, because she doesn't have a son or a daughter of her own. And Peter, yeah, as her nephew, but Peter's probably like her son. Look. MCU. I'll explain why. And if you look at Uncle Ben and Aunt May and the other in the comics and even the other movies, yes, they're the uncle and aunt of Peter Parker. But I think Peter Parker calls him Uncle Ben because they're uncle or Aunt May. But they look at Peter as their son because they didn't have any kids of their own, right? They don't have a biological kids, so they look at Peter as their own kid. Essentially, their own kid, their own son. And of course they wouldn't want Peter to get hurt. But I'm so surprised that made MCU was like, I'm surprised she accepted it so easy that her nephew is Spider-Man. Like I thought it should be like, you shouldn't do this. You should worry. No, you can't do that. See, the problem is, it's from the first MCU Spider-Man film with Tom Holland Spider-Man. See, that's the issue. And you could easily have Amazing Spider-Man of Andrew Garfield with the Venom coming in, the version of Venom. Now, I don't think they're gonna have Green Goblin because Harry Osborn's still alive, right? Norman Osborn's dead, so we know Norman Osborn's not going to become a Green Goblin in that universe. Harry Osborn's still around. They can still use him, but like, I don't know. Like maybe they shouldn't. They can use Morbius. I think Morbius might be in the same universe. There's other villains you could use. The thing is, if you're gonna do a MCU of Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 4. Sony has to look and be like, which villain can we use Which Spider-Man villain can be used for Andrew Garfield to face? Venom, Morbius, and which villains can we use for Tom Holland Spider-Man to face? And they gotta look at the possible list because we know. Look at Tom Holland Spider-Man. He could possibly face Scorpion. Scorpion we know is an MCU. He's not Scorpion yet, but we know the guy who is Scorpion, Matt Gargan, who we saw the end of No Way Home. It was in not No Way Home. Who was in Homecoming? He had a Scorpion tattoo on his neck. Remember, he went up to Vulture, Michael Keaton, and asked him. He heard that he knows who. He asked. He kind of told the Vulture, "I heard you know that who Spider-Man is," and Vulture's like, "If I knew who Spider-Man is, would you think he would be dead?" Right? And we know Scorpion's an MCU, and I got a possible Spider-Man 4 involving Scorpion. Now, the actor, I don't know the actors who played that Scorpion because it was such a small role, really. Hope it's something more because Scorpion, a lot of people like Scorpion. And if you know the comics and the animated show, that's in the 90s, you know Scorpion. What happens to Scorpion? Right? And we'll get to that. That's possible. That could possibly be MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man. And we gotta look at the list of some other villains Andrew Garfield. He could face Venom, Morbius. I think Venom is an obvious choice. Morbius, too, if he's in this, because I think Morbius should be obviously Green Goblin's out of the picture. I don't know about Doc Ock. Lizard is still alive. Right? Electro's back. Max is back to not being Electro anymore. He's probably like regretful of everything that happened. They could do Chameleon. Black Cat, maybe. Like, I don't know. Black Cat. The thing is, Black Cat was teasing Amazing Spider-Man 2. Do you want Black Cat to be part of Amazing Spider-Man verse? Or do you want Black Cat to be the female fatale, the love interest of Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker? In the next trilogy for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Because I think it's better. I think Black Cat will probably fit better for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Just have a female fatale who's obsessed with Spider-Man. Right? We know that. And have the actress who played MJ come back in Andrew Garfield's verse. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man universe. Have not Michelle Jones. Oh my God. Have Mary Jane come back and be the next love interest for Peter Parker. I gotta see this tweet RJ shared. Yeah, he's right. He's definitely right. I mean, like, I know. Yeah. So here's the thing, George. I'll get to this right now. I think Miles Morales is going to be the MCU because Donald Glover portrayed his uncle, the Prowler, in the first Homecoming Spider-Man, right? Remember that. He didn't mention his nephew. So I think that's a little like that I'm sorry, but that was put in there on purpose as an Easter egg. That was done on purpose. To tease Miles Morales eventually happening. That's why. Yeah, yeah. So see, that's why I suggested Black Cat for maybe the fifth Black Cat, and that's why I suggested Mary Jane. Bring back the actress to play Mary Jane if they do for Andrew Garfield's third film as a love interest. Yeah, and Miles Morales. If they do a fourth, fifth, sixth film with Tom Holland, Miles Morales will probably be a little bit later on. Let's get Tom Holland Spider Man over 20 at least, like somewhere like 22, 23, right? Let's get him there first. Let's get him there first because it'd be awkward for a 20-year-old to mentor a teenager. Really. Let's get Tom Holland Spider Man a little bit older first. Then we get Miles Morales. Yeah. Good point. Good point. I just want Peter Parker to be older first before he takes out Miles Morales, you know? Because to me it looks awkward. You have like a 20-year-old mentoring like a 16, 17-year-old to be a hero. It's like you're too young. Even though he's experienced, you're still too young. I mean, look at the video game. Yeah, yeah. Peter Parker was just out of college. But that Peter Parker in the video game was probably like around the mid 20s, the late 20s, and so that's reasonable for the mentor of Miles Morales, who's this teenager. I think that's reasonable. Was he 22? So he might be just out of college. So here's a good. Oh shit, George, are you a mod? You know what to do. Get rid of this. Get rid of that thing. Yeah, 22. So if get him to at least 22, then right? Get him at least 22, then he can mentor Miles Morales. Thank you. But yeah, but Miles Morales, I'm telling you, you're gonna see him. You're gonna see him on film. You're gonna see a live action Miles Morales. I guarantee it, guys. I guarantee you'll see a live action Miles Morales. There's no way they would. There was no way to put Donald Glover just to play with us as the uncle, just to play with us. That's something. That's something that they plan to do is have Miles Morales eventually. Look, we're getting Young Avengers. Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel, maybe Spider-Man himself, maybe Ironheart, Riri Williams. I don't know who else. We're getting Young Avengers. I wouldn't be surprised if Miles Morales. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. So now I wouldn't be surprised if we get Miles Morales and Young Avengers. I do think we're gonna get Young Avengers, and I wouldn't be surprised if Miles Morales is in it, and Peter Parker, Tom Holland Spider-Man is in it, and he's probably more experienced one, take more of a leadership role. As you can see in the Avengers movies, Tony Iron Man was more the leadership role. I wouldn't be surprised if Peter Parker, Tom Holland Spider-Man, becomes more the leadership role in the Young Avengers, and Kate Bishop. Yeah. And I think the talk, and there's other Spider like, and when I'm going to see Scorpion, maybe Jonah Jameson, because Jonah Jameson in No Way Home, it's very different from the Tobey Maguire's Jonah Jameson. Well, Jonah Jameson and Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, doesn't trust Spider-Man, doesn't like Spider-Man. He would not go out of his way to be unethical, to be unmorally. Where this Jonah Jameson is very unlikable. This Jonah Jameson you cannot stand. And he's very unlikable. And this Jonah Jameson in MCU is probably the most likely one to try to get Scorpion out of jail. Scorpion could be going parole, or they could do something, and have Jonah Jameson say, you know what, Scorpion, you hate Spider-Man too. You hate Spider-Man. How about this? You become a legit a man in a Scorpion suit. They do in the animated series, and something bad happens, and like an animation show, an animated series, a Scorpion suit kind of almost you know what happens. If you know what happens to Matt Gargan in the show, yeah, and maybe something like that could happen in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man, and Gargan has to go after goes after Jonah and blames Jonah Jameson for what happens to him, and Tom Holland Spider-Man has to stop him or something. I mean, Scorpion is a possible villain for the next. If they take the idea from. Take it from the animated series. If they take that idea. That's one example I can use for Scorpion. If you're going down the criminal organization, you got Mr. Negative, in his gang, remember from Spider-Man the game. And if maybe Kingpin, have Kingpin involved somehow. You can have, maybe they hired a chameleon or something. And the chameleon, I don't know if he's going to be a big bad. He might more likely be like a support villain, but chameleon, you can have a chameleon. You can even do that in Amazing Spider-Man. But, Hobgoblin, I don't know if they want to do Hobgoblin. Maybe Hobgoblin I think Hobgoblin could fit Amazing Spider-Man. And no, guys, if they do an MCU Hobgoblin, not Ned Leeds. I don't want Ned Leeds, because that Ned Leeds is not Hobgoblin. Well, I can never picture him as Hobgoblin. It has to be the two most notable Hobgoblins ever. The original Roger Kingsley or Jason McIndale. And Jason McIndale was the Hobgoblin in the animated series. Remember, he was going to marry Felicia Hardy? Yeah, and the next trilogy, if you have Kingpin, you can introduce, maybe have Kate Bishop involved, or you can even put Daredevil, have him more involved. Yeah, see, there's a lot of possibilities there if you could do Kingpin, Mr. Negative. Yeah, and look. So a lot of people forget in the Kate Bishop show Hawkeye episode 6. Not Hawkeye episode 6. Hawkeye, this is not a spoiler, but it's not really a big spoiler. It takes place in 2025, right? Hawkeye takes place in 2025. So 2 years after Endgame. No Way Home still takes place in 2023. Because the first scene is basically right after what happened with Mysterio. And you got Frame and Jonah Jameson revealed all that stuff, and what Mysterio revealed, right? So there's a time difference between the two shows. And if you see Spider-Man No Way Home, everything got erased. Everybody doesn't know who Peter Parker is. So things can happen in those 2 years with that Spider-Man. They don't mention Spider-Man at all in that show. But we don't know what happened to Spider-Man, because look, Kate Bishop and Spider-Man both in New York, but we don't know what happened to Spider-Man. He's been doing it 2 years. Maybe he revealed his identity. Maybe people remembered who he is. Some people. I don't know. We don't know. Yeah, Kingpin and Spider-Man would be cool. And I'll just say this. I'm going to say this in Hawkeye episodes. Kingpin is not dead. They're saving him for Daredevil and Echo. Okay? Those people in this Twitter who are bitching about Kingpin possibly being dead, have not read the comic books don't know what happened in the comic books. Uh, and what other villains could there be? Like, because a lot of the villains in Spider-Man 4 were actually used in the movies, like all the movies. Shocker! Oh yeah, Shocker! Shocker was in Amazing Spider-Man, wasn't he? No, not Amazing Spider-Man. He was in the first Homecoming movie, right? Shocker? Yeah, but he was nothing. Shocker was like just there. So yeah, don't expect Shocker to be a main villain in anything. More like a hired goon. That's all, to rob banks or something, or rob somebody, like hired by like somebody, like Kingpin or somebody. I don't know. That's what Shocker would probably be like. We got the Tinker still, right? We could maybe do the Jacko. What other villains does Spider-Man have? I mean, we're not gonna do Sandman. Not Hydro Man. Alistair Smythe? I don't know. He was pretty good for what he is, but yeah. We may have Rhino, but don't expect Rhino to be a main villain too. More of like like if I see Rhino, I think Rhino is kinda like Shocker. Somebody just there to do the job. Yeah, possibly. And here's the thing. Tom Holland wants an MCU version of Harry Osborn, and he wants the actor Timothy Chalamet to play him. That's what he suggested. That he suggested that to play Harry Osborn. The thing is, how do you use the Osborn's MCU now, knowing that they kind of really don't exist? They don't exist. You have to introduce them a different way. I mean, they may not be which family. And I guarantee you this: they're not gonna have Green Goblin in the MCU. They're not gonna have a new Green Goblin. It's not gonna be William Dafoe. Right? It may not be Norman Osborn, because Oscorp doesn't exist in the MCU. Which I thought the multiverse will make somehow. I thought the multiverse will somehow have Oscorp end up in the MCU. Yes, that's a possibility. Maybe have maybe over the years, like they're having a huge science facility or science building being made in New York, and the Oscorps come from a different area, but that building belongs to the Osborns. So maybe the Osborns are from a different side of the country, and they decided, they decided to have build a huge lab or a building in New York, and maybe that's a possibility. They could change it a bit. Yeah, they could change it. Obviously, yeah, that's true. What else? What other villain? What other villains can I think of? I mean, if you have Gang Wars, Hammerhead, Tombstone, maybe. Remember? Yeah, they don't have Mary Jane Watson. Um, other villains. Tombstone, Hammerhead. You got, I don't know, like those guys just might be not main villains, but they might just be ahead of their respected organizations. Uh, Sin Eater. What's his name? Stanley Carter. Yeah, Hobgoblin is perfect. Yes, you can use Hobgoblin. Sin Eater, maybe Sin Eater. You know, Stanley Carter, cop, but he has a different personality. Like he's a cop, former agent, Shield agent who has mental illness. He's depression. Another persona as a Sin Eater. Stuff like that, and he's religious, and he kills. Spider-Man in the comic books almost killed Sin Eater, Stanley Carter. But Daredevil threatened Spider-Man to reveal his name, reveal Spider-Man's name to everybody in public. But Sin Eater's been revealed to be sick, really mentally sick, like Two-Face, kind of. Not. They did get No Way Home. Did take some from the one what's it called? Mephisto. The one had the storyline that did involve Mephisto. It took some way. It just didn't use Mephisto. Or yes, I mean that could happen to Secret Wars or something. Yeah, it's possible they could do Cletus Cassidy, but man, the thing is with Cletus Cassidy. Remember how toned down? He was very toned down in Amazing Venom. I wonder how toned down he'd be in the MCU. There's a lot of options here. Haha. Josh. Yeah. Mephisto is gonna get used eventually. Keyword eventually. And if the rumors are true about Ghost Rider, the chance of Mephisto is gonna be greater. Appearing in the MCU. I always believed Mephisto was never gonna be in WandaVision or Spider-Man No Way Home, but if the rumors are true about Ghost Rider, because if you heard me on streams before, I always believed Ghost Rider is gonna be in the MCU in 2 to 5 years, and now what happened yesterday? It's been reported possibly Ghost Rider's been cast, but the rumor is Norman Reedus of Walking Dead. Ghost Rider will be cast. That makes me believe Mephisto will eventually end up in the MCU. I know he's technically the devil, but come on, seriously, they can use a devil in the MCU in some way. If religious people have a problem with it, then don't read the comics. I'm just saying Mephisto is going to end up in the MCU. And I don't think it's going to be Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. People are I don't know. I mean, it doesn't. If it happens, it doesn't affect the spell. It won't break the spell, right? I mean, it won't break. If that happens and start remembering who it is, it won't affect the spell that Doctor Strange cast right at the end of No Way Home, right? So if it doesn't affect that, I have no problem with it. But if it does affect that, then it's stupid. It's really stupid. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Hard to that's a very Just a minute. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't have sources. It's a different Spider-Man story. You know, the thing is, it's kind of like Batman. You can't have the same story of Batman with his parents dying, stuff like that. I don't know why. It's it's different, and you know what? It kind of works in this universe. But Amazing Spider-Man should happen. 3 should happen. Andrew Garfield should come back. Amazing Spider-Man 4 will not. Spider-Man 4 will not happen. Tobey Maguire. Maybe it'll come back. Like it's like MCU overall has so much going for it. There's so much you could think about the future and what you have seen this past 2021. Let's go through Let's go through all the 2021 MCU things. WandaVision. That's gonna lead into a Multiverse of Madness. And yeah, it's a complete different take. Yeah, and then in the middle of the year we got Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that what did that do? Became Sam Wilson became the new Captain America, right? And then we got Loki. And what did that introduce? The concept of time travel, more time travel with Kang. Kang may be the big bad, the next Thanos, if you understand. Maybe. And we got Black Widow. Well, Black Widow, I agree. It was an okay movie, and I agree a lot of people it should have been done earlier. The only thing was that was in my view was important that moved forward with the MCU was actually the credit scene after credit scene with Yelena going to Natasha's grave. I think that was the most important thing you could take from that movie that progresses the MCU in their future. And then we got What If? I mean, I don't know if it's canon or not. Possibly, if it's true about Captain Carter maybe being part of the Illuminati and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, possibility. I mean, what if it's not the Illuminati? What if it's the Midnight Suns? Some version of the Midnight Suns showing up in Multiverse of Madness. I don't know. And then we got Shang-Chi in September. That progress of a new character and possibly new threats, intergalactic threats, stuff like that with Shang-Chi. And then we got Eternals. And I know people are decisive on Eternals, but Eternals did introduce the concept of celestials, deviants, beings above human, alien, whatever. Basically gods, basically creators of the universe, and that might lead to Galactus. That's what Eternals, and leading to Black Knight, and we haven't seen him, but we know that voice is a Blade. It's a little bit of introduction to Blade. And then we got Hawkeye, and we know Hawkeye that introduces us to Kate Bishop and Echo, and Kingpin proves to us that, well, Daredevil is gonna be in the MCU. We know that's Spider-Man No Way Home, but we proves us that we're gonna have Daredevil, Echo, and Kingpin. Right, that's progressing, right? Oh, all right, awesome. So basically, every MCU project, except for me for Black Widow, and I'm questionable about What If, is all it does is taking the next phase. It's progressing to phase 4. I'm almost done, George. Don't worry. And we'll see what Morbius. We'll see what Morbius does, but then we really won't get something until Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, because we don't know when the next Disney Plus shows. We don't know if Moon Knight's gonna be first or She-Hulk. We just know they're coming in 2022. We just don't know the dates. So I'm gonna say the next MCU thing is Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, which comes out in May. But I do think we're gonna get one of Moon Knight or She-Hulk before that. And the rumor is it's gonna be Moon Knight. So yeah. And I think so. And to wrap this up, I'm about to end it. To wrap this up, they should make Amazing Spider-Man 3. I'm not gonna spam it. I'm not gonna go spam Sony. I'm not gonna go crazy like certain people during the Snyderverse fandom. But they definitely should make Amazing Spider-Man 3. I think there's a better chance of that happening than the Snyder stuff ever happening. I think the Snyder stuff ever happening is like a 1% chance. Yeah, very low. And all those people believe it's gonna happen. I'm sorry. And I'm gonna explain why. I'm gonna make a video on why the Batman stuff, like RJ just made, the Batman stuff is gonna prove my point. And you could deny it all you want, but what I'm seeing from the Batman stuff is showing me more evidence that the Snyderverse is not continuing. Okay? Okay? You can deny it all you want, but it's there. It's there. It's there. Everything is there. And yeah, I'm gonna make. I might make that a stream. I don't know. I might make a stream or a video, cause I'm basically gonna say, this is what I'm basically gonna say. Keaton. I'll give you a brief description. Keaton is gonna be the Batman for the DCEU. Okay. Cause he's gonna be the one to focus. They're gonna focus on the DCU, whatever movies he's gonna be up in, right? Haha. And so Keaton, there's a reason why Keaton. They're gonna the Flash movie is gonna be like make Keaton the main Batman in DCU, and it's gonna be part of Batgirl. It's gonna be the mentor to Batgirl, becoming Batgirl. And I'm just gonna say, and that's gonna phase out Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's done after the Flash. That's his last movie on his contract with Warner Bros. He's done. Unless they negotiate something, but we don't know about. And the Batman that comes out in March, that's the Batman they're going to focus on more as their definitive Batman. Okay? Because, yes, one movie. They're planning a trilogy, and they're planning shows. Like the Gotham City Police Department show, GCPD show, and the Penguin show. And as I said, those in a possible trilogy, and possibly more shows, spin-offs. That's the Batman. They're gonna make a universe of Batman, okay? The Batman universe. No, I call it the Reeves universe because we don't have a fandom name for it, but it's gonna be called. There's gonna be a universe based off that Batman, and we're seeing it right now. Now we don't know there's gonna be a tour. We know Reeves wants a trilogy. We don't know if there's gonna be a tour. The third and second movie haven't been greenlit, but we know the first movie's coming out, and we know they're gonna be GCPD and the Penguin. And the Penguin's been confirmed. Colin Farrell is back, so we know that's going forward. That's most likely gonna happen. We know that universe is gonna happen. That's where we're gonna focus. They're gonna focus on the Robert Parrish's Batman. Keaton's Batman is just gonna be there as a mentorship. He's gonna be. They're not gonna. I'm sorry, but DCU Batman, it's gonna be more of a background character. Or Batman verse, yeah. Batman, background character. I mean, like, he'll be in the scenes, but he's not going to be a heavy focus character in the DCU. Okay? And I'm going to explain it in the video or a stream. I might make that for Thursday. because I'm doing a Hawkeye episode 6. I know I'm late, but that's gonna be tomorrow. I was gonna do it over the weekend, but I had a new mic, which I got. So yeah, Snyder fans, you could complain and bitch all you want to me. Go at me. I'm just gonna tell you what I see, and I'm just gonna say this. I have nothing against Zack Snyder. I like some of his movies. It's not dead because we got the Black Adam, Aquaman 2, and the Flash, so it's not dead. But I'll say this with Zack Snyder. I have no problem with Zack Snyder. I like some of his movies, and I don't like some movies. And I know that a lot of people love Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead was shit. But it's his fandom. The toxics. The ones going after Leslie Grace a couple days ago about her tweeting that the cat's out of the bag about Michael Keaton. Those people like that. Those people are not. They're not DC fans. They're Zack Snyder fans. I wouldn't come Zack Snyder fans. So you know what? I'll say this about Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder doesn't deserve fans like that. And I'm going to end it with that. So this is what I got to think about you guys.
Too sweet! Sweet! Too sweet! Too sweet!
So yeah, thank you for... I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment below, and Hawkeye episode 6 review tomorrow. So I'll go over episode 6. I'm gonna make a Batman video. I don't know if it's gonna be a video or a stream, but it's gonna be as I said, it's gonna be based on what I see what's happening with what Warner and DC is planning to do with Batman, with the Keaton Batman and the Robert Pattinson's Batman. If you haven't seen the trailer today, go see the trailer, because this trailer for the Batman was fire, man. It was freaking amazing. I didn't do a reaction to it, but I suggest you go see it. So yeah, once again, like, share, subscribe, comment below. And with that, AWO, the Aaron Warner is out.